MWCEA Studio, we welcome now Michael Traylor, President, the Mississippi Workers' Compensation Education Association, and also Roxanne Case, the Vice President of the MWCEA. All right, Michael, tell us exactly what you guys do.
Well, first of all, thank you for having us on the show. We appreciate the time. We are actually a nonprofit organization that's made up of various members of the workers' compensation community in Mississippi that focuses on trying to educate the community about the type of benefits that are available, the type of medical treatment, and other factors that we look at in the workers' comp community. So it's a nonprofit. It's made up of people from the entire industry, including attorneys on both sides, workers' comp adjusters. We have nurse case managers who are also in the community, employers. We have medical professionals who are also a part of that. And so it's a very mixed group of people that all come together, and somehow it works. But our main focus is to try to educate people. And that's primarily why we're here today, to talk about our upcoming conference in April, where we are doing that.
Okay, so when you talk about the community, I think it's the words you used, are we talking about those who are enrolled in and receiving workers' compensation benefits?
Well, so that's probably, that's one aspect. That would be the claimants that get injured. But mostly what we're trying to do is, for example, work comp claims adjusters. So a lot of the adjusters who are handling claims on behalf of the insurance companies and their insureds, maybe they handle multiple states. And so, or maybe they're new just to the work comp community, period. Mm-hmm. And so what we try to do is we put out information for them to say, okay, this is available to you that tells you about Mississippi's workers' compensation benefits. And this is how our law applies these set of facts. And so same situation also for medical professionals as well. The workers' comp law in Mississippi has what's called a medical fee schedule, and it's pretty complex. And a lot of times for medical providers and their billing agencies, maybe they don't know exactly how that works when you look at compared to just general health insurance like Blue Cross Blue Shield or United Healthcare. And so we try to educate them as well about, okay, here's how our law pays for this procedure, or maybe here's this type of treatment that is not available under workers' comp. So those are primarily the people that we're educating, maybe not so much the injured workers. Hopefully someone along the way, whether it's myself, an attorney for the injured workers, or even the adjusters who are dealing directly with the injured workers, are walking them through the various aspects of our law.
Okay, gotcha. Roxanne, how are you funded?
We are self-funded. And basically, we put on this conference in April. Mm-hmm. It's going to be April 10th through the 12th. And so the funds that we receive from putting on that conference, we use to educate, hold other Zoom conferences during COVID, or conferences throughout the state. But that's our primary means of money, basically. Mm-hmm. And as Michael was telling you, it's a conference that is put on through this board, the MWCEA board, but also the board works hand in hand with the Mississippi Workers' Compensation Commission, which is where workers' compensation claims are brought. So we work with the commissioners and the judges to put on this conference. So when the conference takes place, the adjusters, the medical providers that come, the vocational rehab consultants or nurse case managers, they have access to meet with, talk to the commissioners, talk to the judges, talk to a lot of the doctors that actually see the claimants. So it's a very tight-knit community, but it gives everybody an opportunity to learn how these claims work, how they can work together to basically bring these claimants to a point where they can get back to work, get back into earning wages, getting better, but also how it can help the employers handle the claims and do better in putting them back to work. So it's a good process, and it's a good means for the community to get together. We've been doing this for, I can't even say how many years now, but it's a like I said, tight-knit group that has figured out that this is the best way to educate everybody and try to do the right thing for the employer, but also for the injured worker.
Okay, so do employers attend the conference as well?
Yes.
They do, and actually this year we have tried as best we can to include a few educational sessions that target a few specific areas of employment. So we have one session this year that's focused on state employee workers' compensation claims, which sometimes can be a little bit different than just your general claim.
Okay.
We also have one that's focused on the role of the safety manager in workers' compensation claims. So a lot of employers do have somebody that's in charge of maintaining safety, or even HR, maybe it falls under that. So there are a couple sessions this year that are specifically targeted for employers, and we hope that more and more are going to be able to come.
There's also a session that's focused primarily on trucking. So that's going to be a special session in and of itself for trucking companies and their safety managers.
So are you also trying to, or does some of the content include education to the employers on how to just create, I guess, safer workspaces that avoid these situations where someone is injured on the job and then has to seek workers' compensation?
Correct. We want them to have safe workplace environments, but we also want them to know, I mean, obviously injuries are going to happen, but we want them to know how to handle the injury and how to handle trying to get that employee back to work. Studies show the sooner you can get them back into the workplace, the sooner they will work through their recovery. So that's what we're wanting them to see, what they can do to be the best employer to handle these workers' compensation claims, because they are going to happen, but we want them to have a safe work environment, but also know what their duty and responsibility is to the injured employee.
So back when I was in business, as I recall, there's something called like the experience factor, something like that determines what the cost. Because essentially, it's insurance is what you're buying as an employer.
That's right.
You're contributing to the workers' compensation portion of an employee's payroll. Essentially, it's that factor is applied to it. I don't remember there's thresholds. Once you hit a certain number at a certain point in time, like $7,000 a year or something like that, and then you're no longer paying those premiums. It maxes out in a year. I don't know what the threshold is now. But that experience factor, as I recall, based on your experience. I mean, how many claims you have had, sort of like any sort of commercial insurance or any other kind of insurance is typically driven by the experience of the carrier, the insurer, as far as what their costs have been to insure you. And they may boost that based on claims filed and experience. That's the way workers' comp works as far as I can recall. Is that still the case?
Yeah, I think so in large part.
Okay.
You know, before I got into the legal field, I was actually a claims adjuster myself,
Okay.
and so worked for an insurance company and definitely heard experience mod very frequently.
There you go.
So yeah, you're right on point on that. And that's also one of the things, you know, as Roxanne was just talking about, I think some of the things that can help with that experience mod is the employer taking good safety precautions in the workplace? Once they have an injured worker, are they participating in the process and trying to help facilitate that back to recovery? So all those things can help, even if you have the claim, to hopefully lessen, you know, your experience on it.
Well, I mean, no different than life insurance is gonna also often be based on the health of the insured and the age of the insured. Same deal. So all of those are actuarial factors, if you will, much like the experience and the safety of a workplace would figure into the premiums that an employer would pay for workers' compensation. It's just a risk assessment, essentially.
Correct.
Is what it is. So is your goal to try, I mean, I know you got multiple goals because you got, when you talk about the community, it's extensive and it's diverse. It includes not only those who are claiming workers' compensation, but those who are providing various services to those claimants, like physicians and providers, medical healthcare providers is one, and I know therapists and a lot of others is involved as well, lawyers, and then you got the employer side that's essentially paying the premiums for all this. But is one of your goals just to try to make people aware that what's available to them overall from a workers' comp perspective, both the employer's responsibility and the injured employee?
By all means. Yes.
It is. And we'll have many vendors that are there as well that are putting their product out to employers, insurance companies, medical providers that are showing them that these things are available. And so the conference itself, it's in April. It's April 10th through the 12th of this year. It's at the Beau Rivage on the coast. You can go online if you're interested in signing up or getting any information about us at MWCEA.org.
Sounds good.
And we're looking forward to it. It's a great time every year.
Michael, Roxanne, appreciate you guys coming in and talking about the Mississippi Workers' Compensation Education Association. Thanks.
Thank you for having us.
Coming right back, folks.